Hi guys, hello boys and girls, and hello my dear fellow foreign English speakers. This is me, Robbie from EnglishHarmony.com, and welcome back to my video blog. Today, I wanted to tell you something interesting in relation to English fluency, obviously, because this whole project is about English fluency, so what else could I be possibly telling you about, right? Other than English fluency related matters. Anyhow, the particular thing that I wanted to bring up today was phenomenon of you being able to perform quite well when it comes to spoken English performance on days when your English is kind of suffering a little bit, right? But still you have those particular situations during those days when you are capable of performing very well. And here's a typical example, just to make it 100% clear to you what exactly I mean by saying all this, right? Let's say, for argument's sake, I go to work in the morning and for some reason my English is not 100%. My brain is not firing on all cylinders for whatever reason, you know, and my English is kind of sluggish, you know, so it's basically one of those bad fluency days, you know, and if you think that my fluency is 100% at all times, well, nothing could be further from the truth, you know, it doesn't even hold truth when it comes to your native language. You can't perform 100% at all times, even in your native language. It's just a fact of the matter, you know. And you may believe that it's not true, but if you analyze all those things a little bit deeper, you will realize that you can't always have that clarity of thought and flow of words and everything, you know. Anyway, let's say, for argument's sake, I go to work and I can't speak 100% with my colleagues, you know, I hesitate a little bit maybe, you know, but then comes a moment when I have to take a phone call, you know, and the moment I take the phone call from a customer, my fluency just comes back just like that, you know what I mean? And the reason being, at that particular moment in time, I have no other option but to perform, you know, and I think that all of a sudden all your abilities get mobilized and your fluency goes back up just because you have no other option but to perform well, you know. Basically, when you're speaking with your colleagues, even if it's a conversation between you and your manager, you still don't have that what way to put it, that demand on you to speak super well, you know what I mean? So you can kind of afford to make a small mistake here and there, but all of a sudden when you're on the phone with the customer, you have no other option but to be 100% fluent. And obviously, there's always the chance that you're going to make a small mistake, even when speaking with a customer, but I hope that you get the drift, right? When your fluency is slightly below the average, you still have those events on that timeline when the fluency has to go back up, no matter what. And if you think about it, speaking in a camcorder, which is exactly what I'm doing right now, at this particular moment in time, right, is a similar event, you know, it has the same effect on one's fluency. Before I turned the camcorder on, my fluency wasn't the best, you know. I've been obviously speaking with myself all day long, but I noticed that today is one of those days when my fluency is slightly lagging behind, if you know what I mean. But now that I have to actually speak in the camcorder for you guys, I have no other option but to force myself even to pronounce the words clearly, to make myself understood, you know, to get the message across. So it just has to happen. Well, obviously there's always room for error, as they say, and I wouldn't be surprised if I've made a mistake or two during the recording of this video, but I hope that you get the message. I hope you get the drift, right? Basically, the message is that during a below average fluency day, you can still mobilize your abilities, your strengths, and that you can force your brain to fire on all cylinders when you have to perform, you know. But I'm not trying to claim that it's going to happen all the time, you know. Obviously, I remember back in the day when I was, for example, going for different jobs at one particular moment in time, and I was doing a lot of interviews, and I got this phone call, and this is an event that I've actually mentioned before in one of the videos, right? But it's an event that has imprinted itself into my brain so vividly that I'll always remember it. You know, I got this phone call, and I had to do an interview over the phone, and I was trying, but for some reason I just couldn't speak, you know. And then eventually I was told that my English wasn't good enough for the job, and that first I should actually improve my English and then go back to that looking for the job, right? And it was I was mortified, to be honest with you guys. But anyway, that was a situation when I should have performed, but I couldn't, you know. And we are all having those days, you know. But what I'm trying to say is that there's always light at the end of the tunnel. And more often than not, when you have these pressing situations, when there's a bigger than normal demand on you, you will be able to mobilize your strengths as an English speaker and deliver the kind of speech that you are expected to deliver, you know. You just gotta believe in yourself, and you just gotta do it, you know. Just the way I did when I took my first phone call in the new job. It was around 6 weeks ago at this stage, right? I was dreading the moment that I couldn't get over the feeling, what it's going to be like when I take the phone call. Like, what if I screw it up? What if something happens? What if I say something wrong, you know? And I had to get over it, you know? I took the first phone call, and I got over it. I realized that it's a walk in the park, right? And every next phone call reinforces that feeling. And now I know that even if I don't feel 100% on that particular day, if I'm a bit tired coming into work, still, when I take that phone call, when I answer the customer, I can deliver just at a level I'm expected to deliver, you know. So that is today's message. Basically, the power of your brain cannot be underestimated, my friends. So you just gotta trust yourself, you know, that even in situations when you kind of freak out and you think that you're not going to be able to deliver, you actually might surprise yourself. But it doesn't mean that you don't have to prepare for those situations. It doesn't mean that at all. That's not what I'm trying to say. I'm not trying to say that you can just rely on the fact that somehow you're gonna pull through. You know, it's not the case. If you're going for an interview, for example, or some other speech that you have to deliver, and you gotta speak for a long period of time, there is no other way to prepare for it other than by way of preparation. You know what I mean? You have to prepare it for days, just like the way I did when I was going for the job interview. You know, I spent long hours on a daily basis to repeat all the questions that I might be asked, and then the answers and everything, you know. There's a lot of preparation, but eventually it paid off, you know. So what I'm trying to say is that all those situations where you have to do preparation apart, if you have moments during the day when you feel that your English is not 100%, when you have moments when you have to deliver, more often than not, you are going to be able to deliver. You just have to believe in yourself, you know. That's the message, and thanks for checking out my video blog. And obviously, if you have any questions, please feel free to publish them in the comment section below, my friends. Chat to you soon. Bye-bye.